never gonna make it. You're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible. It's not probable. You're irresponsible. Too many obstacles. You gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow. You can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move. I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions. They blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen. That shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're dreaming.
There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Oh, will you fight?
Hello and welcome to Game Day from the UK, another Miami Heat UK live pre-game streaming show. Here tonight to preview the game against the Philadelphia 76ers. Before I do that, let's introduce the squad. What a squad we've got tonight. Look at this. First of all, Oli Rahimi, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thank you. Buzzing to be back with everyone. Feels good.
It is, yeah. It's great vibes tonight. Yes, really pleased we've got a good turnout. Sam Aquara, how are you?
I'm good. It's nice to see everyone's faces. Just missing one last member, but hopefully he'll be back soon.
I don't know where Glenn is. Glenn is MIA. He is Mia. He is Mia. Bilal Monar, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Good. And of course, John Jablonka, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Good stuff. All in good moods, all lots of smiles, and rightly so as well. He took care of business against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's start there before we come on to tonight's game. Guys, we said in the last game we made very much hard work of the Pistons win. We got the win. We wanted a much more straightforward game, which we got. Bilal, I'll start with you. It was comfortable, wasn't it? It was a blowout win. In fact, the 12 points it ended up being, which I think you might have actually even predicted, I can't remember now, but a 12-point game that we won by probably flattered them in the end, but as straightforward as it comes really against the OKC with basically Shea and G Leaguers in.
Yeah, definitely. It was an enjoyable game to watch. Saw a lot of guys go off and was just took care of business. That's what we, as the number one seed, should do basically.
Yeah, that's it. We said, you know, there's been a little bit of stuttering, a little bit of sort of clunkiness from the Heat offense in recent games. We've been making what should be straightforward games not. We've been struggling to get over the line, but it was good to see, as I said, that be about as straightforward as it comes. We knew really by half time that was all done and dusted. Sam, my favourite thing about that game, and we did mention it in the last stream as well, minutes. Let's just go through that. Bam Adebayo, 25 minutes played. Robinson, 20 minutes played. Kyle Lowry, 28. Hero, 28. Tucker, 18. Jimmy Butler rested. That, for me, is bigger than the result. Those guys getting some much-needed rest.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at the minutes they played, they produced fantastically for the number of minutes. So even Bam was aggressive for the couple minutes he played. I think he put up like 19 points. Similarly, Kyle Lowry did put up similar numbers. Duncan Robinson had a good game. And Tyler Hero doing Tyler Hero things. Got some good minutes out of Udonis Haslem as well. It's nice to see a couple minutes from the likes of Yurtseven. And yeah, it was a good game. It's a good game. And yeah, we hoped that the big guys would get some time off, which they did. But I'm glad that I saw good production in the limited minutes that they had.
Yeah, definitely. That was for me the big takeaway. We did say it in the stream before that we wanted to see the job get taken care of early, so they guys can get some rest, which they did. Jimmy Butler didn't play, which I thought was absolutely the sensible decision as we hit now the important stretch of games. John, there was just 2 games last week against the Pistons and the Thunder, whilst a lot of our rivals had quite heavy workloads. But those 2 wins were just as important as any other, because as we hit this stretch now and guys are starting to drop games around us, to pick up those 2 games was huge, because it now means that really we've only got to go a little above 500 here. Maybe 6 games could be enough in these final 11, which means that when we get to the important stages, when the guys, our opponents are still trying to maybe jostle for playoff positions, we'll be locked in and maybe get some rest then when the playoffs are about to start. So that's important too, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that was the main point, to get one of the easy games. But before this week, we had 12 games left, and 6 of them were below 500 teams. So as long as we take care of business for the easy teams, we pretty much guaranteed the number 1 spot, and that lets us rest PJ, Jimmy, and Kyle as well. So it's a win-win.
Absolutely, yeah, win-win. It was important. It was said when I was watching the Pistons game, as I said, that was a really frustrating, stressful night. It should have been straightforward, as I said before, just rubbing my temples all night through that game. I thought we cannot drop a game with this tough schedule coming up. So to get through 2 games when you're heavy favourites, to not play down to the opponents, I thought was big. Ollie, before we come into the Sixers game, over those 2 games. A lot of players, as I said, have been allowed to rest. Some clunky performances in amongst some of the starters there, but Tyler Hero and Max Strus stood out to me as the two highlighted players through those 2 wins. Would you agree with that? Anybody that I'm missing, or are they the players that I think have highlighted themselves over those 2 games during that week?
Yeah, Tyler definitely. I feel like it's obsolete talking about Tyler playing well at the moment because that's just his level.
What he does.
Yeah, exactly. It's not surprising. So yeah, Tyler was amazing. I'll gloss over that because 6th man of the year, All-Star. Yeah, Max was really good. Max has showed he's been good recently, and we've seen with him all season, as well as Duncan. Really, they're hot and then they're cold. But Max is on a good run at the moment, and he's playing well and he's hitting his shots, which is really important. And yeah, I think the Heat offense just flows so much better when he is playing well, especially coming off the bench. Because we have that sniper in our starting 5 with Duncan Robinson, and then if that role can be replicated in the bench unit when you have Hero running it, then all the more points scoring for the Heat. So yeah, hopefully he can carry it on, and if he keeps playing like this, he's going to stake a claim for some playoff rotation minutes, I think.
Yeah, I think so, and fair play to him because, as we've said in the last few streams, he's taking his chance when we was expecting him to not really see many minutes. Now, a couple of injuries come about, and what happens? He comes back in, he takes his chance. Bilal, we spoke a lot about Tyler Hero, rightly so. He's been exceptional. There's been some suggestions in some streams from people like 5 Reasons, etc., where they're starting to say that they may be anticipating Tyler Hero as the playoff start, move into the starting 5. What do you think about that?
Yeah, even myself, I was leaning towards that too. I just feel like in the playoffs, you need your best players, and especially if the Heat get off to a cold start in the playoffs, it might not be an easy road like in the regular season. So we don't want to wait till the 3-minute mark in the first quarter for him to come in. So I think it might be better if we start him, especially if the rotation cuts down in the playoff where we're looking at 8, 9 guys maximum. So even myself, I would lean to Tyler Hero actually starting in the playoffs.
Okay, so if he starts, that I assume you would drop Duncan Robinson to the bench. You thinking that, and therefore is he going to run your bench unit, or are you going to look at maybe Oladipo running that bench unit?
Yeah, so I'll give the ball handling duties to Oladipo and literally put him with a bunch of shooters and defenders next to Oladipo in that bench unit.
Okay, interesting. Sam, what are your thoughts on that? You're sort of shaking and nodding your head and shaking your head, not really sure about it. Would you think?
I mean,
I'm not really sure about it, to be honest.
Same.
I get the ethos, I get the philosophy behind it, and I'm not saying I wouldn't like it, but I just like what we've got and him running that bench unit and dominating against the bench. And I think that maybe you're taking a bit maybe away from the Heat by bringing Tyler into the starting lineup. But what's your thoughts?
Yeah, it seems like such a disruption for me. I mean, it's not a bad idea when you think about it, and especially when you mention how you compare Victor Oladipo and Duncan Robinson off the bench. But that's so much of a disruption, just sticking in Tyler Hero. I mean, he's proved himself as a multi-level scorer, but I don't think he gets that much respect that Duncan gets from the line at the moment. And with Duncan just hovering around, like going around screens, trying to get open on the 3-point line, it just creates a bit more space for the other guys. And while Tyler's he's a good scorer, but I don't think he's earned that respect from his peers like Duncan has, if that makes any sense. So yeah.
Yeah, it is an interesting one. John, I'm going to get your take on it as well from somebody who is extremely knowledgeable and clued up and looks at the deeper side of the game, etc. Incredibly tuned in on that side of things. What do you think? Would you do this? Would you see the ethos behind it, the philosophy behind it, or do you not mess up something that's worked so well this season?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Hero off the bench. That's his role. He played this role for all of the season unless injuries happened. He's comfortable in that role. We're not sure. Like, we've seen him when he starts and his numbers dip, so that could just be a whole different role for him as well. Plus, we've seen the Duncan lineup; they work as well. Like statistically, they work. People compare that to like Dragic as well, starting. That was a whole different situation. He was just resting for the playoffs. He wasn't like needing to learn how to be a starter. He just was resting for his old legs. But with Hero, if it's not broken, I don't see why putting him in the starting lineup works.
Yep, I'm with you. Ollie, final say on it. I've gone around everybody else's. It seems a little bit split, but maybe edging towards, the Hero. Just keep it as it rolling. Final thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think John said it right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Tyler is the sixth man of the year, and nobody has a better sixth man than him. So he is going to be the difference maker in the playoffs if it comes to a close game where the starting five are stagnant. But I also believe that fit, I think, and chemistry is sometimes more important than just straight up the quality of a player. So yeah, I think come next season, Tyler will be starting. I don't doubt that because of his quality. But I think for now and for this Heat team, his role is perfect off the bench. And if he can provide that scoring output that he has done recently in the playoffs for us, that'll be a massive plus for us. And I don't think anyone even has anything similar to that can come off the bench and score 20, 25, 30 points a game. So it's a big plus for the Heat.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, look, we all agreed that we will put every bit of trust in the coaching system, in Spo, to get things right. But yeah, when they the guys over at Five Reasons are saying they expect this to happen, I was a little bit, okay. I'm not really sure because, as I said, I'm relying on Oladipo, Duncan, Strus to come in and provide that spark. Our bench always outscores the opponent's bench, and that's mainly because we've got Tyler Hero doing so. So, yeah, I'm with you guys. I think at the moment, roll with it as it is. But let's move away from that for a minute. Before we get onto the Sixers game, the Boston Celtics, Bilal, they are now the most informed team in the league. They are legit defensively. Tatum and Brown, etc., have been exceptional. Are they going to be a true contender this year? A true contender?
Definitely. I feel like we do say this with the Celtics every year, but I feel like they've taken the stride this season where they faced adversity at the start of the season, and they basically overcame through that. They've got Horford back, and they've got an amazing defensive lineup. Just being able to switch literally 1 to 5, having two bigs that can kind of switch on everything as well. With Marcus Smart at the point of attack is crazy actually. So I do believe they're a true contender, and they'll be a real hard team to beat, especially for the Heat.
I think that they're peaking at just the right time. It seems the chemistry there is spot on at the moment. So maybe a team that Heat might want to avoid, and it's somebody that we haven't spoken about at all really this season. But as we get into these situations now, let's have a look at the Sixers game that's coming up tonight. No Joel Embiid tonight. The last time we played them, which was only about 7 or 8 games ago, it was right at the beginning of this 7-game homestand. Joel Embiid didn't play that night either, Sam, and the Heat went on to a comfortable 99-82 win. Should it be the fact that Embiid is out, it should be straightforward? No real concerns here, or the Sixers at home, they're a force, but not the force they have been over coming years. Is there still a lot of work to do? Will the Heat need to be locked in?
Yeah, I mean, playoffs is coming around, so yes, best that we are locked in and we stay locked in. But I'd take the opportunity to just get some more rest for Jimmy Butler. And if it's got a situation where Joel Embiid is not playing, Tybal is, I won't say is not as effective as a defensive player anymore, but he just something different about him. Like his instincts are good, but it just seems a bit different defensively. So I'm not really worried about anyone locking anyone up, considering we've got James Harden playing. That's if he does play. But I'd rather take another game to get some more rest and probably just do the same rotation as the last game and watch how it goes.
Yeah, I think there's. I think Jimmy. Well, we've already heard the news that Jimmy is expected to play. John, I think with tonight, there's tiebreaker sort of scenarios involved here, isn't there? I think the Heat lead this at the moment. This series 2-1, I believe. So tonight, if we win, that's locked up, and any chance that the Sixers maybe were to come back at the Heat sort of diminishes completely tonight if we get this win. So do you think with that in mind, they'll go full strength?
I don't think you have to go full strength, especially if Joel's not playing. I don't think we would need Jimmy to win the game.
No.
But I also think it is quite an important game just to lock up that first seed from the Philly. I think Sean put in the chat that they would, if we win or something like that, they would have to go like 9-1. So if the more we win against them, that just separates us more. So I think this win will just put us above Philly at all. So that I don't think they would make the first seed.
No, I think, as you say, I think tonight's win that locks them away from us anyway. But I think that Ollie, they might be looking at the Sixers now. Might be looking at it as though this is a second night of a back-to-back from them. They're almost maybe even looking at this as a scheduled loss after losing to Toronto last night. But do you think that there's a little bit of them now, maybe looking towards a bit of a soft tank here towards the 3-4 because? The Nets are going to finish no better than 7th, I don't believe. Even, they'd probably have to win out the season to try and avoid the play-in, which means they're going to go in that play-in position, which, 7th, 8th, wherever that may be. If the Sixers finish 3rd, they avoid them. Do you think that that's maybe coming into their psyche a little bit here, a soft tank to finish 3rd, maybe even 4th?
It might be, yeah. I just want to say one thing because I've just seen it. So this is breaking news. James Harden is out as well tonight.
Oh, man.
So no Harden, no Embiid.
Wow.
Hopefully, yeah. Now I'm saying 100% rest Jimmy.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the Sixers, I think. I mean, the Heat mantra, the Heat way of doing things is that you will beat whoever you have to beat to get to the finals. But so I'd like to think that Philly wouldn't do that and try and manipulate an easier round for them because, as we've discussed before, I don't think there is an easy round in the playoffs this year. Wherever you go, there's not going to be a sweep. I don't think. So placing in 3rd, that might put them against Cleveland, Toronto, maybe Chicago even. So yeah, it's not easy. But then if they win that matchup, then they've got to play potentially the Bucks or the Celtics or the Nets in the second round. So yeah, it's difficult. It's a difficult one for them. I don't really know which way they're going to take it. I know which way I would take it, and that's the Heat way of doing things. Is just win all your games, play who you've got to play. If you're going to win a championship, you're going to have to beat them anyway. So just get on with it. But yeah, I think the Sixers, when they're fully fit, I think they have enough to beat. I mean, the bottom 4 teams in the playoffs. But I think Boston probably are stronger than Philly at the moment. I back Miami against them, and yeah, the Bucks at full strength again is a tough matchup for anyone.
Yeah, I think that what you said there, I mean, the Heat, we think now that, what we know is that they're saying they don't care what's going on beneath them. All they're concerned about is getting the 1 seed. They find it's going to be an important thing. It's going to be an achievement. Don't forget, everybody all year round has said that the East is a bloodbath. It is brutal this year. But it looks like the Heat are going to lock up the 1 seed of that brutal conference. So they see that as an achievement. They're not worried about what's going on underneath them. But Bilal, as I said there, a lot of people may look at the Nets and just think, look, if you can avoid Kevin Durant playoff, that Kevin Durant, Kyrie, as we know, will be in and out with his COVID, issues, etc. But there might be guys here that look at it and think, if we can avoid them, i.e. the Sixers, they might think, well, let's do that. Let's try and get that Cleveland, Toronto playoff first round instead. Do you follow my mantra in the fact that we should really be looking at every Toronto game and cheering them to win? Because if they can catch Cleveland and Cleveland drop into that 7 seed, for example, or even 8, if the Nets can catch them up, then that means the first play-in will be the Nets versus the Cavs, and you'd expect the Nets to take that, which means we'll be playing the first round against the Cavs. I look at it as though that's probably the most comfortable way you can do it. I know the Heat aren't going down that route. As I just said, they don't care who they'll play. But from my point of view as a fan sitting back, I'm cheering every Toronto win because I think the most realistic way then would be a Cavs first round. Do you follow that, or do you see it going another way?
Yeah, I am in a way, but in a way I'm not. I do agree with Ollie. If we want to win a championship, we've got to beat whoever's in front of us. So I'm not really too worried about the Nets. Especially I've seen something like Ben Simmons might not even play this season. KD and Kyrie, I still think we can beat them with our team. So I'm not too fussed about that. I feel like if we want to beat the best, we got to beat everyone. And it will be a much better way to do it, to beat the Nets and then the Boston Celtics and then the Bucks. And then we will on to win the championship. No one can really call us bubble flukes, bubble frauds anymore. So I'll take it that way.
Bilal just showing the guts. Give us some more. Give us some more. We'll take them all on. And I'll tell you what. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Look, we've got to play them all at some point. Imagine if we go through Nets in round one. You know, Celtics in round two, Bucks in the finals. Who knows? Whatever it is, as I said, the Heat will fancy their chances, and they are locked in, as I said, in just securing that one seed. And whatever happens, happens. Sam, Victor Oladipo is out again, back spasms again, another game missed. The Heat aren't concerned. They're saying, you know, they're just giving him extended time to make sure it's right. They expect him fully back again for Wednesday's game onwards as we come back home against the Warriors. But should this be the time really where it's not concerning? We know that because they said he's fine. This is minor. This isn't major. But you want to see some reps for Oladipo, don't you? You want to see him starting to get into the groove. And with every game missed, it's hindering that.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, you don't want to risk something going bad. And he's just come off a long stint of an injury. Prior to that, he just come off an injury, played a couple games, and then got re-injured. So you want to handle the situation as best as you can. And like, you don't want a situation where there's a lot of hype just around him playing, and you just have to manage it well. And from my point of view, I think that's what the Heat are doing right now.
Yeah, as I said, you know, it's frustrating because you want to see him in and getting, you know, match fit. But you're right, you don't do anything if there's any sort of risk to give any sort of setback. But the most encouraging thing, as we know, is that it's not major and he should be back Wednesday onwards. John, before we get into some predictions, I'll put you on the spot a little bit here because I asked everybody the same question last week. I said, from now, as we hit this stretch of final games, if there's one thing you want the Heat to improve on, to get better at, to sort out, to work out, to get the nuts and bolts sorted as we hit playoffs, what's the one concern? If you could wave your magic wand, what's the one thing you could address to put right as we hit the playoffs before now and then?
Has to be our clutch offense. Just not stop going away from the things that work throughout the 46 minutes and just carry on doing them in the last 2 minutes as well. Because they just go to a different place in the last few minutes, and that just changes the whole offense. So I think that should be the priority, fixing it.
Yeah, you're sort of aligned with a lot of what we said, and it is something that I polled, and that was quite heavily the favourite. I think 60-something% was the same thing as that. So Henry here, wave it, John, wave it. Shout out to Grant, by the way, he got the prediction right. I said it was Bilal. I gave Bilal the credit when it was Grant. He predicted Heat by 12 against the Thunder. Let's start again with predictions. And Ollie, I'm going to start with you. Tonight, the Heat are a -4.5, but that was before James Harden was ruled out. It is going to be much, much bigger than that now. This should be straightforward. In fact, you know, this would be a bad loss. Home or away, it doesn't matter now. They're missing their 2 All-Stars. They're on a second night of a back-to-back. Straightforward Heat win. Yes?
Yes, I hope so. Hopefully it'll be emphatic. Yeah, go and kill them. Without Joel Embiid, without James Harden, they're not a 2 or 3 seed. Simple as that. So yeah, go and kill them. I think Heat by 10. I think we might be able to get out to a big lead, but in Heat fashion, it will come down towards the end. But yeah, another big win. Hopefully, rest some of the guys some more, and just get ready for the playoffs.
Yep, absolutely. Bilal Butler, we are expecting to play, regardless of what is happening with Philly. They've already said he's going to warm up with the intent to play. He is rested. Hopefully those ankles hold up. But yeah, as Ollie said there, you want to see them, get the job done early. And again, same sort of thing. No one more than 30 minutes, perhaps. But what do you think tonight?
Yeah, I agree with Ollie. We just need to get the job done. I want to see Jimmy have good reps as well. Get some buckets. So I'm going Heat by 12.
Heat by 12. So Heat by 10, Heat by 12. John Jablonka, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I need. I don't want Jimmy playing more than he should. I don't want Lowry play more than he should. If I could, I would love to have this another OKC type of game. Just smash them throughout the first, second quarter, then just rest your guys. So I'll say, yeah, Heat by 14.
Yep. Okay. Good stuff. So we're going up in 10, going up in twos. Sorry, every time. Sam, what do you think? As I said, yeah, that would be the dream, wouldn't it? Get it all done in the first two and a bit quarters. Give our guys some rest, and hopefully see some more Omar and UD minutes. That'd be good again.
Absolutely. I think this game has potential to be a blowout game, but I am expecting some load management. So I'm just going to go with Heat by about 11.
Okay. Yep. No, I sort of am more aligned with that. I think that, you know, it is still Philadelphia in Philadelphia. They will still give us a game. Maxi, Fireball, Tobias. They've still got some handy players, but let's have it right. This will be now at pretty much full health, a pretty shocking defeat, especially on the second night of a back-to-back. And he arrested 2 games last week. I think the Sixers played 5 since we played in the last since last week. So yeah, this should be straightforward. But I'm with you, Sam. I think it will be. Maybe it will go out and come back in towards the end. I'm going to say Heat by 10. So I'm with Ollie / Sam on that sense as well. So let's see. Let's hope it's as straightforward as that. We can lock in that 1 seed, lock in that tiebreaker, and then hopefully go towards the playoffs with a fully rested roster. Guys, an 11:30 tip tonight. So we're still taking advantage for a few more days yet of the day-saving hours over in the States. Follow us at the Miami Heat UK for in-game comms. Thank you also to everybody that follows the account. Another milestone hit today, 5,000 followers over on Twitter. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Keep interacting. Keep, supporting us as you do. Subscribe to Miami Heat UK TV, and we'll be back on Wednesday for the Golden State game. Take it easy, guys.